see a little timer at the top, which means we are live. Not yet. Not yet. There it is. What's going on, everybody? We're live Sunday morning, May 5th, 5/5/19. Murky early slate, or I guess main slate, technically. 8 games on the docket. Looking like we might only see 6 of them, though. I am joined by EMAC. EMAC, what's up? How's your weekend?
Weekend's been solid, but it's raining here in. I'm outside of DC. I'm about equidistant from DC as I am Baltimore. It's raining. I don't think it's going to stop today.
Yeah, so. The weather looks like just a steady stream of rain falling from the skies until, I don't know, not anytime soon for this Phillies game and for the O's game. But look, we got a lot of time until 1 o'clock when lineups lock, so keep an eye on it. But we'll talk about the games, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and I'm running crunches as if they're going to be there, but we'll have to make decision points. So let's see. It looks like it's going to clear up in both spots. No, this is me looking at weather in motion. It looks like it's going to clear up about 2 hours in, but then it gets rainy again. So it's hard to tell this far out what that's going to look like. So there is a chance if they're willing to play a little bit wet, as they say, they may get it in. But the thing with Tampa Bay and Baltimore, they're going to play multiple times this season, so making up their game not really that much of a problem. Right. And then Pittsburgh and Oakland. Now that one they may try to wait it out just a little bit, since those two teams are not going to play in Pittsburgh again.
Right. Yeah. Washington, the Nats, Phillies, and Rays, O's, not difficult to make those up down the line.
But I could see them waiting if it looks like there's a window. And Pittsburgh's the best one at it because it's farthest away from this main storm system. So it looks like around 3:30 or 4 o'clock, it gets better there.
I'm treating that one like it plays.
Yeah, I am as well. But the other two, wow, I'm hoping they just give us an early nod and say, yeah, we're not doing it.
Alrighty, MLB Strategy is the promo code, 50% off your first month with us. Any monthly package you choose, including packages with Fantasy Cruncher, you can get 50% off by using MLB Strategy. One big word. As usual on the Strategy Show, along with the Deeper Dive and the Early Bird podcast, we are presented by Yahoo Sports. I have dropped the link to Yahoo into the chat. If you're looking to sign up for Yahoo, please use that link. It helps us out tremendously. Won't change anything for you. And you could use the promo code AWESEMO and get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points, which I think I might be able to use tomorrow morning as yesterday's star Rick Porcello, given this particular pitching slate today, which is, let's just say, not great. There's not like a single good pitcher here. I don't have a single pitcher, even including the games that are projected to not play. I don't have anyone projected for more than 6 strikeouts.
No, I would agree with that. I mean, your best shot maybe is Turnbull, maybe going against KC, because it's certainly not going to really be Julio Teheran because Miami not striking out a ton. But those are my top 2 pitchers right now, Josh. I feel like saying the word top is a disservice to all other pitchers in the major leagues. We had an embarrassment of riches yesterday compared to what we're looking at today.
It's so bad. I'm really anxious to see how my first crunch goes after I see some ownership. There's basically, it's weird. On FanDuel, there's a line drawn under Pablo Lopez in my data where it's just like, I will not have anybody below this. I will only have people above this. And given where ownership is, it can be any one of those 9 guys. And I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. So it should be fun. You ready to talk about it?
Yeah, let's get into it here.
Alrighty. First game up. The aforementioned Orioles and Rays. Orioles 3.9 run implied, total Rays 5.1, 62% chance to win for Tampa. John Means potentially on the hill for Baltimore. Not my guy. Ryan Yarbrough looks to be the guy coming in if this happens, coming in after Stanek. I have zero interest whatsoever in John Means, whether this game plays or not. It could be raining. It could be the brightest sunny skies in Baltimore that they've ever seen. John Means is not my dude. And Ryan Yarbrough, not my dude today. There are times where I like him. When he's like 5,900 on DK and works as a really cheap SP2. I don't really need him at 7,600 here, even though the Orioles are bad. If this game happens, do you have any interest in pitching?
No, not at all. And I mean, Means, I'm not sure what to do with him. I can't tell what his good pitches are. He has been heavy on his changeup. It's just not trustworthy. On the other side, hey, special shout out to Dylan Bundy, who had a two-hitter going into like the 7th or 8th inning last night. So congrats to that. By the way, he's given up 51 home runs over the last season and change, which is well ahead of the rest of the league. We had someone taking some victory laps about picking Bundy and saying we should have listened to him. It's like, no, I'm still not going to. No. Not when the guy is leading the league by that many home runs.
He's still bad.
Is Bundy talented? Book's still out. We thought he was 2 years ago, but we're looking at a full calendar year of horribleness at this point. So that's a long way of coming back around to looking at Stanek, looking at whomever is coming in. I like to pick on Baltimore as best we can, but this just doesn't really feel like the spot today. And with weather likely taking that decision out of my hands, I'm not going to worry about it. The hard part is we do only have 8, potentially 6 games. So we're going to have to treat this less like a main slate and more like, a Wednesday evening slate.
For sure. I'm kind of bummed. The Rays are my number 1 stack on FanDuel. They are, and this is so crazy. So they are 6th on DK, but I have 7 teams on DraftKings from a value perspective, separated by 0.2%. Essentially, Red Sox, Brewers, Phillies, Mets, Nats, and Rays, and Indians. I can't choose between them. They're all the same thing to me. And with pitching already being super flat, I'm looking at a slate where it's like, okay, I like everybody equally. Time to take a stand, I guess. Yeah, if this game happens, I mean, I love the Rays. Anybody in that top 6 is fully in play for me. Mike Zunino on FanDuel, even at 2,200 being a catcher, the power potential is just so massive, especially getting a lefty in Means. These righties for Tampa, Diaz, Pham, Robertson, Garcia, Zunino. I love the Rays stack. I just don't expect it to happen. Anything for you? Would you have interest in the Rays if this game doesn't happen?
I would go that route if it
does happen, rather.
Yeah, if it were going in the I mostly look to the righties going against Means. Diaz, Pham, they're good plays. Robertson, to a lesser extent, is relatively solid. Avisel Garcia, reasonably solid. And then Zunino always has 2 home run upside, but he may also get the golden sombrero. So that's just kind of what it is with the Rays. But it's nice to see them having decent righties, at least this season.
Any interest in those O's bats? They are not coming up for me as of right now.
Oh, let's look and see.
Now we have a lot of lineups right now.
Yeah, they're coming in fast and furious. We don't have the Baltimore one, but I would say maybe top 3. Okay. I don't know that I'd get to Renato Nunez, but VR, Mancini, and Smith are decent. The problem is on DK, I'm not going to pay 45, 49, and 4,700 respectively for them. If we look at FanDuel, a little more palatable, but they're all in the mid 3,000s. And then on Yahoo, they're all in the mid-teens. So paying top dollar at this point for these guys is not really where I want to go.
Yeah, I feel the same way. VR grades out pretty well on both sites. You could talk me into Mancini or Nunez, but I don't need any sort of volume coming from Baltimore here. And again, I don't expect this game to play. So moving on. And before I do this, I want to.
While you're doing that, I'm looking ahead. Baltimore hosts Tampa in mid-July for a 3-game set. So if they're going to delay it, it's not that hard to get a doubleheader in.
For sure.
In that weekend series.
Indians lineup is in, so I'm updating just in case that has changed at all. Since we've got, I don't know, half of the lineups already. We had 5 of them that were popped up on my screen since I had last updated, so no sense in talking about incorrect information right now. Might as well just hit the old refresh button and get them all updated. And we can talk Indians, which is actually a little interesting today. Speaking of Indians, yesterday I had 100% Carlos Carrasco on DraftKings. I could not get away from him.
So did I. I thought Locke was at 410. I also had 3 players that didn't play.
That one I didn't have. Alrighty. Indians and Mariners. Indians 4.8 run implied total. Mariners 4.3. It's a 55% chance to win for Cleveland. Cody Anderson going for the Indians. Eric Swanson going for Seattle. This is another scenario where I have no interest in the pitching on either side. No Anderson for me. No Eric Swanson for me. You getting any pitching here?
No, not at all. And I'm actually looking at now. I've run into some troubles, and especially as we're likely to lose some of our teams here. I'll set some of these pitchers at 5% just because I have a rule that says don't play more than 2 hitters against my own pitcher. And when you're running 4-4 and 5-3 stacks, it can get a little tricky. So you sometimes need just another pitcher to get in those hitters. So I usually default it to 5% for some of these guys. I almost zeroed them out. If we were going to have a full 16 pitchers going, I would zero both these guys out, but that's not the case today. So I may need them for flexibility, but otherwise, no. Swanson, he's the number 4 or 5 starter at best. He had a couple nice moments this season, but his true colors are coming through. And this is as a Mariners fan saying that. So there's not a lot that I'm fired up for him. And the Cleveland lineup much better now that everybody's healthy. It's just with Lindor back and Santana and Jose Ramirez and healthy, and Bowers if he can ever connect. Oh, he had 2 hits yesterday. Congrats!
He went yard yesterday.
Yeah, and then how is Carlos Gonzalez able to play damn near every day for Cleveland? Yet he was dicey for the last 3 seasons in almost every game for Colorado. How does that work?
Who knows?
Is it just the DH? They're just like, yeah, all you got to do is just stand there. Maybe swing. Maybe take a swing if you feel like it, as opposed to playing the field.
So we're talking about pitching, and we're not super fond of it. Indians are my number 5 stack on FanDuel. Mariners are 8th. On DK, Indians are 7th. Mariners are 9th. I like pieces of this, but I'm not overly enamored with anything. Like the Lindor, Kipnis, Ramirez 3-man, I think is very appealing. Not difficult to get to them at all. And filling that out with either Santana or Cargo, Bowers even, I think that is all fine. They're just not someone I expect to get to a ton. I just think that people grade out a little bit more efficiently elsewhere, although we'll see once I start running crunches. Similar story for me for the Mariners. I like a little bit of the top, but nothing aggressive. Gordon, Haniger, Vogelbach, Encarnacion, Bruce. That's about the extent of it. They're just a difficult team to stack because everybody either plays first base, outfield, or first base and outfield.
Yeah, that's something I know you mentioned on a lot of your shows, but it's true. It becomes an issue, and where it's slightly exacerbated is when the Mariners are at home, because oftentimes they're on those late slates or the express slates or whatever the different ones are, and it's hard to stack them.
Yeah,
just because a lot of times Gordon's batting 9th, and then like you said, it's a glut of first base outfielders.
Yeah, that's not the most fun situation in the world. They work really well as like 2-man pairings, one-offs, because they've got a lot of, Vogelbach, Encarnacion, Bruce, Haniger. Like, there's a lot of power right there, but that's outfield first outfield on FanDuel, and outfield first slash outfield on DraftKings. A lot of overlap. Makes it really difficult to find a pairing for them. But in a one-off scenario, if you want to get Dan Vogelbach or, just Jay Bruce, makes it really easy. Favorite batter in this entire game?
Vogelbach.
Okay. Give me Lindor. but I like the Vogelbach call. Grades out pretty well for me. He would be my number one Mariner. Moving on. Marlins and Braves. Marlins 3.6 run implied total. Braves 3.9. The 53% chance to win for Atlanta. Pablo Lopez going for the Marlins. Julio Teheran going for Atlanta. Now we could talk about some real stuff here. So Teheran grades out as my third best option on FanDuel. He's the most expensive pitcher at just $8,500. On DraftKings, he is the second most expensive pitcher. He grades out as my second best option. Certainly going to have some interest in Teheran, especially anytime you're facing Miami. You're at least mildly interested in the starter. But don't sleep on Pablo Lopez. He's actually my fourth ranked starter on FanDuel and my fourth ranked starter on DK, 7,700. I don't normally like going up against the Braves. They don't strike out a ton. I think they're a quality lineup. But I'm a fan of Pablo Lopez, so I actually like the pitching on both sides. How do you feel about pitching here?
How old do you think Julio Teheran is?
26.
He's 28.
Huh.
I thought he would be a little bit older. You know what? DFS slates make for strange bedfellows. I am looking at Julio Teheran, but I wanted to come in here and look at some of his game logs. 3 home runs allowed to San Diego, none in Cincy, 1 in Cleveland, 1 to the Mets, 2 at Colorado. He's got 8 allowed on the year. He's got a 5.3 ERA. His xFIP is better than that, which is nicer to see, but he gets to face a ton of righties here. Looks like did we get that lineup? Granderson will probably
he's also getting the second best home run park for pitchers in all of baseball, which doesn't hurt.
Which is huge, and you know, we don't like lefties against, or well, we like to take lefties against him. This is one of the better matchups he's going to see all year. Yeah. So he's going to end up as my. I set a cap of 50 today on pitching just to see what would happen. He's capping out at 50, so he is going to be in my plans today, and I will be rooting for the bats to carry the day for me.
Yeah, he looks good. I really do, from a dollar for dollar perspective, if we speak about, either site, DraftKings, FanDuel, Yahoo, I only have like 1/10 of a percentage point separating Lopez and Teheran. So I'm guessing Lopez doesn't get crazy ownership, which is beneficial to me. I'll probably be quite a bit over the field. But these guys will represent a lot of my exposure because they grade out better than a lot of everything. Like, I've got this group of 4 that turn a little bit green in the color column here. Porcello, Teheran, Eflin, and Lopez. And then I've got this next crop of Montes, Lyles, Keller, Turnbull, Sanchez that are just like shrug emoji, grab one. And then I have the rest of the guys, which all look like they stink. I don't really know how to sort it out. So I'm either going to get a lot of those first 4 guys and just rotate through everybody, or it's going to be like a makeshift tiers contest where I pick one out of those 4, I pick another one out of those other 6, and those are the ways that I get my combinations of pitching. Well, we'll find. I won't find out until we get ownership and I run a crunch. I know that I'm going to have these 2 guys in abundance, though. I know that for sure.
Lopez just. We're running out of arms here, but 7,700, not the worst price. He has some talent. Miami has some decent talented pitchers. Obviously, Caleb Smith is the better one, but Trevor Richards isn't bad, and Lopez isn't bad. They have some chance to turn into number 3 starters or serviceable rotation guys. But yikes, it just never feels good going against Atlanta. But Atlanta checking in with just a 4 implied run total. We'll have to see who's in the starting lineup, and if Acuna or Donaldson get a day off here, that will improve the fortunes of Lopez.
That's for sure. Lopez has a 388 FIP projected from Steamer. Julio Teheran is at 475. That's almost a full run. You would never think about it like that, but it's crazy for me to think. That's just a testament to how many bombs Teheran gives up.
Yeah, his home park does him no favors.
No, not so much.
And there's your difference. He's probably half an ERA worse, or half a run worse at home on his ERA, and and Lopez is probably half a run better. So there's your switch places, and we'd be talking a lot more about Julio Teheran.
Probably, yeah.
Marlins.
Braves and Marlins are at the bottom of the list for me in terms of hitting. The Braves are a little bit higher on DraftKings, but neither team is someone I expect to end up on all that much. It actually wouldn't shock me to see me get a little bit of Marlins hedge stacks if Teheran picks up a ton of ownership. But these are not the Marlins in particular, not the team that you're normally looking at thinking, can't wait to get all those bats. Just, they're not that kind of squad.
No, but they've helped populate a lot of other major league rosters with their various fire sales. So
yes, they have. The Marlins are like college sports. They make all the other people look way better. Ownership is up, which means I could run crunches while we're on this show. Let's grab ownership right now and see what is the ridiculous nonsense pointing to today. I can't even imagine where this is going to end up.
See, all I had to do is just click the little refresh button on my FC Pro version of the Awesemo Fantasy Cruncher. And there it is, populated with ownership right there for me, Josh.
Cannot beat it. I like the plug, too. I'm doing it the old-fashioned way, copying tables into Excel. I'm a nerd.
No, it's funny because I was telling Jake off air, but I had changed from using regular Fantasy Cruncher to the Awesemo one, and it has the tabs. I'm used to seeing my Fantasy Cruncher tab on my span of like 20 open tabs, and it's like, where is it? I can't find it. I've got 8 other Awesemo tabs open. Damn it, which one is the one I want to click on?
Sure.
So I've had to rearrange my windows and where I place my tabs, but it is nice just hitting, and there we are. All the ownership is in there for me.
So ownership is pretty balanced on FanDuel, split between 4 guys in double digits. Teheran, Eflin, Turnbull, Porcello. On DK, we've got Porcello, Teheran, Eflin, Lyles, Turnbull, Lopez, Anibal Sanchez, all from 15 to 32%. So the public is looking at this like, yeah, I don't have a clue what to do here. And I can relate. So I'm going to dump my projections into DK. I'm going to dump them into FanDuel, and we're going to run a crunch and figure out where we stand. But for now, are there any bats standing out for you in this Marlins Braves game? We have a couple guys I'd like to point out. Curtis Granderson got to 14% ownership on DK. Donaldson is at 10 on FanDuel. Acuna at 10 on DraftKings. Those are the 3 highest numbers. So I kind of agree with it. This game's not getting any ownership.
All right, and we just got the Braves lineup. Donaldson is not in. I guess he's just not going to play on Sundays this year. So
can't say I blame him. It's a great day to have off.
It is. So looking at this $3,900 Matt Joyce, not really excited about that. So for me, $3,500 on Granderson is solid, especially because I'll probably end up needing him. Even if I've got Teheran, I don't hate if I'm doing my 4-4s and he's my 1-off or my 5-3s. I'll live with that. If anybody's going to get a home run off Teheran, it's probably him today. But on the other side here, this does boost Lopez just a little bit. Now that we've confirmed that it solidifies Lopez a little bit now that we've confirmed Donaldson is not in the lineup.
Jake with it is a great day to have off in our YouTube chat. I like it. Yeah, I can't really recommend much outside of Granderson. It's not that appealing. No one for the Braves grading out all that well. They're expensive, and I don't need to pay up for bats in Miami. The chances of them having a really outlier scenario and hitting a couple multi-run dongs is tough. So this one's not for me. I think we're going to move on.
Sounds good.
Tigers and Royals. 4.4 run implied total for the Tigers. 4.1 for the Royals. 53% chance to win for Detroit. Spencer Turnbull on the hill for the Tigers. Brad Keller going for KC. I have Turnbull like a hair above Keller, but they both look pretty similar for me today. Ownership feeling a little bit different, though. Turnbull is in the mid-20s on the 2-pitcher sites, 12% on FanDuel. Brad Keller, 4% on Yahoo, 9% on DK, 3% on FanDuel. So the public is much less on to Keller than Turnbull, but Knowing that, I feel like I would probably just get to more Brad Keller. Neither one of those things make me happy. Talk to me about pitching. Talk to me about Turnbull or Keller.
So I just defaulted my way into going with more Turnbull. He's hitting the 50% cap I have set, and I didn't bother to let Keller run free here. But if you look at Keller from a perspective of we've got 12 pitchers today, assuming those postponements are going to happen. He's not horrible. He's not someone I like to pick on because he literally gives up no power. He has over his last, 775 hitters, has a 100 isolated power to lefties and a 105 to righties. So basically, he makes every hitter essentially Starlin Castro.
Yeah.
And there you go. And I throw Castro out there because he has over his last 700 at bats, he has about a 115 eye. So I was looking this up to make a comment in the article. I write the Spotlights hitters in Stack's article earlier this week. So wow. Yesterday I was looking at a couple of the Detroit Tigers guys, batters, but I want to point out here, Miguel Cabrera. If he were to play, and I played this game with Jake yesterday, so if he's still watching, he's laughing.
He is in the lineup, by the way.
Yeah, if he were to get 550 or 600 at bat, so like a full season, what would you project his home runs and RBIs to be, just from top of your head? So he'd be a 3,100 guy. Or
30 and 100 was my first thought, but maybe the RBIs are a little high because of the team. But yeah, something in that neighborhood.
So he is on pace to be 6-60.
Really?
Yep. So I just point this out on the few shows that I've been on, because when you say, oh, it's Miguel Cabrera, I'll take that, former Triple Crown winner. How bad can he be? Yep, he is bad. He has fallen off the shelf. He is 36, and he's on the Prince/Cecil Fielder talent cliff.
I thought you were going to say weight training program.
But two of my favorite players, my favorite all-time player is Edgar Martinez. A close number two is Cecil Fielder. So then by default, I also liked Prince Fielder. And if he didn't have that neck injury, he was still doing okay. But yeah, I am now going to be rolling with Keller. I'm hoping for a quality start. He doesn't strike out a ton of players. So I'm hoping for 4 or 5 strikeouts, 6 innings. I'd be excited for that from Keller today.
Yeah, I have him in for 6 right now, actually. If he gets 6, I'll be very happy. Just entered in. I thought I was going to be able to run a crunch there, but just got the Marlins lineup, just got the Tigers lineup. Now we're basically waiting on Red Sox, Mets, and Brewers in terms of lineups that I think matter. I like a few bats in this game, but again, this is not the spot that I expect to be stacking up. Royals and the Tigers are dead last for me on all 3 sites. Royals are towards the bottom as well, so I like one-offs of Merrifield, Mondesi. I don't mind Candelario or Castellanos, but again, I'm finding it hard to get to offense here, which means that I'm gonna have a lot of offense in these 2:00 games.
Yes, I'm going to drop the link in chat because it's a free article that we have here, Spotlight hitters and stacks. But yesterday I had Kansas City as the afternoon stack. I had Cincinnati as the late or the main slate stack, and then the Rockies didn't come through on that late slate 3-gamer. But this was it was a very good day. I didn't set my 4:00 lineups, which frustrated me, but I did set my all-day lineups, and I had a boatload of Kansas City and a boatload of Boston. So I was flirting with 200 points on a lot of lineups. So I won a few tickets yesterday.
Nice.
On DraftKings, but that was about it. But otherwise, baseball would have been very, very good to me. It was not, since I forgot to set my lineups. Today, no real interest on either side here. If I was going to look at anybody from Kansas City, it would probably be Mondesi.
Agreed.
And Ryan O'Hearn. Now, O'Hearn, he got the start last night. I think he hit a home run. But he had not played for 3 or 4 games, and he didn't have a hit in his last 3 or 4 starts. So he was in just a massive slump. So perhaps perhaps that extended break helped him clear his head, Josh.
One can only hope. Not that it matters, but the Orioles lineup is out.
Oh, who is in?
Let's see if anything changed.
Yeah, their number 9 hitter's not the same.
Yeah, they moved a couple things around. Just shuffling the deck chairs of the Titanic on this team. I reckon. All right, we're gonna start getting into the things that I can actually talk about. So
yes,
Jake said give these dudes a like in chat, and I completely agree with him. You should give these dudes a like, and by these dudes I mean us. 4.1 run implied total for the Pirates, 4.4 for the A's. It's a 52% chance to win for Oakland. Jordan Lyles on the hill for the Pirates. Frankie Montas going for the A's. I see these guys essentially as equals. They have the exact same 0.5% value rating for me. However, Jordan Lyles, 18% ownership on Yahoo, 26 on DK, 9 on FanDuel. Frankie Montas, 2, 6, and 1 in the same contest here. Give me Frankie Montas all day in comparison to Jordan Lyles. Give me neither guy with any sort of volume anyway.
All right, let's see if that's what we really want to do, Josh. We've got Montas here, 8,400, Lyles 8,200. So pricing really not giving us much of a discount, but they are likely to be 2 of our 12 pitchers. We do know that Pittsburgh is one of the better pitching parks. I'm looking to see here. Chris Davis is in the lineup, so that's not going to bode very well for Jordan Lyles, but just a 4.2 implied run total for Oakland, 3.9 for the Pirates. Kendrys Morales at 3,200, a little bit of a discount dandy there for you. Profar, yeah. Oh my God, Ramon Laureano is Larian. I can't say that name. Ramon's batting second.
Call him Ramon. Yeah.
Ramon's batting second. That's a nice one. Marte is healthy again. Polanco's back. I'll have a sprinkling of these guys here. Don't really want to chase either one. Lyles, I don't know what we want to consider with him. He started off, a house of fire here this season, but he has since dramatically dropped off. The walks are up. The overall, the strikeouts are kind of down. This is probably more the pitcher that we should or the type of performance we should expect from him. Just looking it up here. So 4 walks in his last game. Strikeouts, he had 10 in his outlier game against Chicago, but he has only topped 5 one other time this season. So yeah, these guys are just it's a whole lot of it might as well be Turnbull. It might as well be Keller. I think you're right. This is a tear game today, Josh.
It is.
And hopefully the tears are not streaming down our cheeks once we make our choices. But good God.
I hope they are. Tears of joy.
Yeah, there you go. Where's the differentiation amongst any of these guys? There's nothing. I keep looking at the stats and the metrics, and changing my filter to this year, to back to last year, to 2 full seasons and splits. Nobody's popping today. Nobody is popping.
It's rough. A's are in a tricky spot. So Pittsburgh's park plays league average for lefty power, has an 89 park factor for righty power, which is the second most difficult park in baseball for right-handed power. Not great when you're going righty, 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 righty at the top. Kendrys Morales looks okay. I like some of the lefties for Pittsburgh, Frazier, Polanco. I don't really like the prices of any team here. So my only expectation is that I flip-flop the ownership on Lyles and Montas just because I see them as equal, and I don't think that Montas should have 6% ownership in comparison to Lyles at 26. Steamer thinks they're basically the same guy. They have the exact same strikeouts per 9, 7.7. They are separated in walks per 9 by 0.1. Montas at 3.5, Lyles at 3.4. Their FIP is 4.48 to 4.41. They might get there in different ways, but these dudes are profiling in the exact same way. They have essentially the exact same price. I don't need to have Lyles 4 times as owned as Frankie Montas. So that's my recommendation. If you're playing on a 2-pitcher site, don't follow the ownership for guys that are average at best. That's the place that'll kill you. Just not a spot you need to be. I'm guessing that I get a lot of Oakland stacks to hedge Jordan Lyles ownership.
I think that is definitely going to come to fruition for how you are approaching your leveraging and balancing act here. I notice Jake is taking the same approach as you now, and I know that's what Adam does as well. I still like the mass multi entry, and I'm just, this is my second season of doing it for baseball, so I'm still working on getting that under my belt. But I haven't taken that next step like you guys do to fully utilize what the masses are doing or not doing to heavily influence what you're doing as well. So that, I think, is kind of that next level thought process. And I think it works out marvelously for baseball, because it's just the variance, the failure rates are so high, and just weird stuff happens. And if you can be away from the masses, it is going to make a major difference for you. And to complete the thought, where I'm going with this is, I have my teams that I my 2 favorite teams that I root for, but I have not really watched very much of either one of them, the Mariners or the Nationals this year, but I've still watched a lot of baseball. I find that, like, on a day like today, who do you want to root for? Well, why not go against the masses, because these guys are all about the same. Take the lesser owned guy, and then there's your favorite players for the day, and gives you something to watch, just because you can see yourself go racing up the leaderboards as some of these pitchers end up melting down.
That'll be my plan. Hopefully I can put myself at the top. All right, Phil.
I heard rumors that you won a couple contests last week. Which was this? Yahoo? Was it FanDuel? What was
FanDuel? I won the Beanball back-to-back days.
And what is the Beanball? What is the?
It rotates between a 10 max, 20 max, 25 max. It's
okay.
222 to enter. But yeah, they run, like, today it's a 25 max. On Friday it was only 10 for some strange reason. But I got that back to back.
There you go.
It's kind of exciting.
Yeah, hang that one on the wall.
Yeah, I was hoping for the 3-peat. Didn't happen.
you and Pat Riley would be there.
Wow, that Braves lineup is rough.
It is. Without Donaldson, it makes a dramatic difference.
He's not the only one.
Oh, is Freddie out too?
No Acuna.
Oh, Acuna. There you
go. No Acuna. Alrighty, we got to talk about it, but I think we can be quick. Phillies and Nats. Phillies 4.7 run implied total. Nats 3.8. 60% chance to win for Philadelphia. Zach Eflin going for the Phillies. Anibal Sanchez going for the Nats. Eflin, quite popular if this game is to happen. He is the chalk pitcher on DraftKings. Also getting ownership on FanDuel. Very chalky on Yahoo. Anibal Sanchez not getting a ton of ownership. 16% on DK, 9 on Yahoo, 4% on FanDuel. I'm a fan of Anibal Sanchez, at least on DK, where he is, I don't know, the cheapest viable pitcher that I have. But here's the real issue. I don't think this game plays. I can't imagine wanting to roster a pitcher in this game. That would scare me a lot. I do like the hitting, oddly enough. Phillies are in the middle of the pack for me on FanDuel, but they are 3rd on DraftKings. The Nats are 5th. They are 4th on FanDuel. So I would be more likely to get to the hitting here than the pitching, at least in abundance. I agree with Eflin, but I think that everything I just said isn't going to matter, and this one doesn't happen. So what would you want to do with this game if you thought it was going to happen?
If I thought it was going to happen, I would roll with Eflin. The Nats are missing literally everybody, and now, did we get their start? We don't have their lineup yet. Now Matt Adams may be hurt. Soto's just dealing with back injuries. Zimmerman on the shelf. Murphy on a different team. Harper on a different team. This is just, it's not a good lineup at all anymore, and that would have gotten me to Eflin, probably even with the field, maybe a little bit more. But I crossed these guys off today. If it was playing, I think Harper and Hoskins, which you could say every day,
Yeah.
that would be where I would start. Going against Sanchez. Sanchez kind of changed his pitch mix a little bit. So he's a little bit more effective than he had been 2 and 3 years ago. But, good ballpark, et cetera. So if this goes, I would go with those guys. But just to point out, like with Baltimore and Tampa, randomly, these two teams play again in the middle of July coming out of the All-Star break in Philadelphia. So if they have to postpone this one, it won't be a big deal.
Yeah. I would really like to have some bats. I'm very comfortable not having pitching. And it's not that I don't like these guys. They would both be in my player pool for sure. Eflin in particular looking fantastic. The problem for me is, let's just say that this game does get in that like 4 to 7 window. Zach Eflin and Aaron Sanchez, or Anibal Sanchez, yeah, Aaron Sanchez, not the Blue Jays. Zach Eflin and Anibal Sanchez aren't the type of guys where you're just like, oh no, I regret this beforehand. If Scherzer was potentially the starter for the Nats, he can you'd be worried for not having him if the game got in. But I'd rather just not have Eflin and Sanchez, and if they play, whatever, I don't care. I'd be okay having a couple main stacks of Philly or Washington if we get closer to 1 o'clock and that window looks like it's going to be a little bit bigger. But I can't imagine wanting to force in pitchers that I think are basically like league average at best. Scary.
Not when we have so many other league average pitchers at best on this slate.
Yeah, the whole slate is just a bunch of number 3 and 4 starters. If this game happens, favorite bats on the Phillies for me: McCutchen, Harper, Hoskins. What a hot take. On the Nats, give me Matt Adams on FanDuel if he's in the lineup, 2,800. On DK, Adams, Victor Robles, Brian Dozier.
Did you? Howie Kendrick is 4,600 on DK.
Noted slugger, Howie Kendrick.
Wait, he played for Philly at some point, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah.
I can only ever picture him on the Angels. That's the only thing I picture. Are you checking?
Yep. Half of a season.
Yeah.
39 games.
Legendary Philly. I forgot he was on most of these teams other than the Angels, but that's what happens when you have a 9-year career or a different team or however long it was, 8 years. All right, 2 to go. Brewers and Mets. Brewers, 5.1 run implied total. Mets, 4.3. The 57% chance to win for Milwaukee. Zach Davies going for the Brewers. Jason Vargas going for the Mets. Good God, this is gross. Davies got the 7% ownership on DK. I think both of these guys are putrid. I don't want them. I won't have them. The Brewers are my number 2 stack on both FanDuel and DK. The Mets are 3rd on FanDuel and 4th on DraftKings. Now we are talking. Now, let me be clear. These teams are chalky. If we take a look at ownership relative to the field, the Brewers are 1st, the Mets are 4th. That's for FanDuel. On DraftKings, the Brewers are 2nd, the Mets are 4th. I completely agree with it. They should be. I want the hitting here because both of these pitchers stink. How do you feel about this game?
There is no K in Zach Davies, just for the record. And much like his name is on the field, prowess is a 16.9% strikeout rate against his last 420 batters, 8.1% walk rate, 4.7 xFIP. Going against lefties, that gets even worse. The strikeouts drop down to 15.5. The walks go up to 13%. So we are hoping for McNeil, Cano, Conforto, Nimmo, and I don't hate Pete Alonso to connect them. So this is going to be a Mets day for me. I like the Brew Crew on the other side. It looks like my last crunch that if he's in the lineup, Jesus Aguilar is going to be one of my most high-owned one-off players.
Sure.
But this is a spot where I'm going to go. We don't have any weather concerns. Both bullpens are a little sketchy at this point. And didn't they play some? They played like a million innings last night. Like I went to bed after the basketball game, and this game was still on. Let me see here. I thought they played like 18 innings yesterday, so I'm going to look and see. Let's see where are we on bullpen usage here. So for the Brewers, wow, they had Albers, Burns, Claudio, Junior Guerra, Hauser, Jeffries, and Taylor Williams all went yesterday. They combined for well over 100 pitches. Claudio Guerra and Guerra were on back-to-backs, but looks like probably some tired arms there. For the Mets, they literally pitched everybody in their bullpen yesterday. Gagnon and Zellman were on back-to-back, so I doubt we see them today, but they still could go with Lugo or Edwin Diaz or Flexen or whatever. Flexen went 29 pitches. I doubt we'll see him. So these teams are tuckered out. Josh, I don't know. I doubt that either one made a transaction to call up a fresh arm or anything, but that bodes well for us.
Yeah, I'm in for all of this. And clearly the public is too. Ryan Braun projected for 40% ownership on FanDuel. $2,900 outfielder against the lefty Vargas, so not terribly shocking there. He also made the thumbnail for this video. I'm just going to have a lot of this game. I won't get to extremes like 40% Braun, and I'll have way more of like the Hernan Perez, Manny Pena, Arcia section, or like Wilson Ramos is basically unowned on FanDuel. Todd Frazier is basically unowned on FanDuel. I'm much more likely to have like 2 or 3 times the field of the guys that are not getting ownership and then just fill in with the other guys. I'm going to have a ton of Brewers Mets.
The Brewers it was 18 innings. It was tied at the Mets tied it in the top of the 9th. Then they played 8 scoreless innings. And then the Mets scored at the top of the 18th, and Milwaukee came back with 2 at the bottom of the 18th. There were 11 hits. 6 of them went to Ryan Braun.
Baseball needs ties. Baseball desperately needs ties. There's no reason that you play 162 games and you need to play that out. Just allow ties. Play the 10th inning. If it's still tied after 10, go home.
The teams combined for 500 total pitches.
At the top of the 18th, how many people do you think are still in that stadium? Compared to when it started. What percentage of the people are still there to see the final pitch?
Well, let's see. There's 25 on each active roster, plus the coaching staff, the announcers. The concession beer stopped selling in the 7th, so 12 innings prior to that.
Let me look up what the attendance was for that game last night. Mets Brewers attendance. Wow, really? 39,500 for that game. I'd be shocked.
Then somebody's bobblehead.
I'd be shocked. Yeah, for real. I'd be shocked if there were 10,000 people there by the end of it. But I also didn't see a screenshot or anything. Yeah, we just need ties. There's no part of that should happen.
Are you trying to impose your version of football on all the sports now, Josh?
Yeah, it's better. No one needs that. Why are we so ashamed of ties? It's not like the NFL where you only have 16 data points.
Or you're not.
162 games, I think we'll be fine. There's no need for it. All right, favorite bats for me on the Brewers. Ryan Braun, obviously on FanDuel and Yahoo, standing out, but it goes Braun, Aguilar, Yelich for me on the Brew Crew side. Peter Alonso, Conforto, Cano on the Mets side.
I'm guessing Braun gets today off.
Phillies lineup is in. Not that matters. I would be very surprised if Ryan Braun doesn't play today. They're not going to sit Ryan Braun against the lefty. I'd be very surprised. That is like his favorite thing. I'd like to know how many games Ryan Braun has sat against lefties. That's his deal. That dude has been crushing lefties and steroids for like 15 years now. Was shocked to hear he was on the gas more than once. Oh, Ryan.
Yeah.
Time to close it out. Uh-oh. What did I just paste into this Why is this broken now?
Hernan Perez, if he's in the lineup, 2,200 on FanDuel. Not a bad way to do it.
No, not at all. I'm gonna get a decent amount of Perez. Like I said, I'll end up having. You can tell these losers voted for Hillary Clinton. Probably still peeling the "I'm with her" bumper stickers off the Prius. Huh. Didn't vote for. Do drive a Prius, however.
Did vote for her. Did not drive it. Do not drive a Prius.
Yeah. Yeah, I would never put a bumper sticker on my car of basically anything.
No. And for the record, just before everybody gets fired up, political conversation, I have voted for both parties when they've won. I have voted for both parties when they have lost, because I've been around forever and I've been able to vote in a lot of presidential elections. So each year I sit back and determine who I like and where the issues are.
What was it like voting for Taft?
Taft was it? Well, there was the whole bathtub issue. Which always a little tough there. No, who was the first person? So George
Washington.
I walked right into that one. Well, you know how I stand on wooden teeth and chopping down cherry trees.
I just love that Martha Washington, man. She's a hip lady.
Hey, behind every great man is a great woman, and Martha Washington is that lady. They used to grow fields of it, Josh.
I appreciate it. I'm happy you're here with me. Oh man, you really did walk right into that George Washington one, though. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of myself for being quick enough on a Sunday.
It's just now hitting chat, so I'll have to see what they say.
Oh, it's gonna go well. I'm excited. Yep, there it is.
Thank you, llama trainer.
Oh man. Alrighty, let's close this out. Battle of the Sox, both white and red. White Sox 4.3 run implied total. Red Sox 5.2. It's a 59% chance to win for the Red Sox. Dylan Covey going for Chicago. Rick Porcello going for Boston. Porcello, 39% ownership on Yahoo, where he's only $35. Totally get it. 9,300 for Porcello on DraftKings, two-pitcher site as well. Only 15% ownership. Rick Porcello is my favorite pitcher on this slate. That is not something I'm terribly comfortable with. You guys also should be not shocked. I like Porcello a lot more than the public, I believe. 21% ownership for Porcello on FanDuel, where he is, for some strange reason, the 7th most expensive pitcher. And that'll be even better once we drop 4 more dudes. I really like Porcello. I have no interest in Gavi. How do you feel about today's star, Rick Porcello, for the Red Sox today?
Just saying no. He is actually the first guy I wrote up in the Spotlight Hitters and Stacks article. I'm going to post that one again, free one in there. That also gets you the link to get your Yahoo deposit bonus and some other fun stuff there in the first paragraph. But he is, let's see, what did I say? I said he's one of those guys that typically does not get killed, but he's 30 years old, and the White Sox actually profile well against him. He's only allowed 5 home runs this season in 6 starts. But, Josh, and there's always a but, he has a 5.5 ERA, a 1.7 whip. And when you compare those to his career numbers of 4.3 and 1.3, we're going to see some base runners today. Even though it is not a lefty, reigning player of the month and bat flip aficionado, Tim Anderson, is where'd he end up? He's batting 5th, so he's good. I'm going to do my home run call of the day right now. It's going to be Yonder Alonso, and I like Jose Abreu. So there we go.
I like that you called him the bat flip aficionado.
It wasn't really a flip. It's more like he threw it at him. I don't know. If you ever watch those, like, you can go down the YouTube rabbit hole and start watching some of the Korean League bat flips. Oh, they really get into it.
As they should. It's more fun. It's more fun. Okay, now, why are the damn Brewers showing up as the Phillies for me right now? Can't figure out what my sheet is doing. I just fixed this, did I not? Why are the Brewers not the Brewers? What is happening? My sheet is just busted right now, and I have nothing to compare it to. For some reason, I pasted the Phillies lineup into the Brewers, And now Andrew McCutchen is leading off in Milwaukee today, making everything look incorrect. Oh, I wasted all my quickness on that George Washington joke. Now it's all going downhill. I deserve it. All right, now we've got this fixed. So let's hop back to this. Yeah, look, I love getting to Porcello if he's just expensive on DK. If it means that he's not getting the ownership. I see him as the best option, so I'm cool with paying up. I assume that I'll be most over the field on Porcello. Has a lot to do with the fact that I think the White Sox are barely an average offense and they K a lot. For the Red Sox bats, they are 5th for me on FanDuel right now, but they are number 1 with a bullet on DK. I wish that I could get some benefit out of that, but the public is also there, so it's not going to be anything I'm too crazy on.
You're not playing Covey at all, are you, right?
No, not so much. He's one of the worst options for me.
Yeah, and I don't think he's stretched out for what it's worth. He's been in the bullpen this season. They sent him back down for the last couple of weeks to the minors, probably because that's where he should pitch all the time. But I want to see. He didn't start, and I think the most he went was like 50 pitches. So it'll be interesting to see how long he goes. I wanted to see how many starts he has in his career because I know he has over a 6 ERA. So he's got 33 career starts. And he has just absolutely been a mess. Shout out to who was it? I think it was some of my former coworkers, still friends, El Jefe and Draft Cheat. One of them went to a live finals on a Dylan Covey. He caught lightning in a bottle for one good start and talked. I think it was El Jefe, the king of the Twitter victory laps. He talked about how good he was, and then Covey like literally got his ass kicked for like the next 6 starts.
Hey, all you need is one.
You just need the one. It's like
Brewers lineup is out. Christian Yelich in. Ryan Braun in. Favorite Red Sox bats for me, gonna stick to the top. Benintendi bets Martinez. Martinez number 1 bets to Benintendi 3. Feel free to use anybody there. I'll fill out the stack as I can. For the White Sox bats, bit of a tough sell for me, but something in that Moncada, Abreu, Alonso range.
So I had my home run of the day with Alonso. Who is your home run of the day?
That's a good question. Let me add this Brewers lineup in right now and refresh, and I'll make the home run pick.
All right. For pitching, I have my little bracelet here, and it says WWSVD.
What would Sean V do?
Absolutely.
Oh, God.
Sean V, where you at? I need some help here. I need some help deciphering this slate.
I would add the rest of that bracelet says, because I'll do the opposite.
Hey, it's very valuable. If you find something that you know is incredibly consistent and you can make decisions based off that, do they have to be right all the time? No. It's a very valuable thing.
Yeah, just knowing the actual percentages is perfect. If Sean V is wrong 80% of the time, that's valuable as well. At least to others. That's
what I would early in my DFS content providing career, when people would get mad at me or tell me I was horrible, I never make good picks. It's like, okay, then don't choose those guys. Now you know who to go against. That's very valuable. If I'm so bad, then don't play these guys.
Right. You just it's the same benefit. Use it to yourself and don't tell anybody. You should want to know that information. The worst thing that you can get is someone that is average. You either want them to be extremely bad or extremely good, because you can leverage that information. Okay, so you are taking Yonder Alonso, correct?
Yes.
Yonder Alonso coming in 31st in the home run model today. All righty. Who should I play? I am going to go with a Met bat. I will be taking Michael Conforto.
Okay.
Picks are in. Yonder Alonso for EMAC. Michael Conforto for this guy. Are we tied right now? I think we're tied.
I think I have 5.
I think I have 5.
I had Reese Hoskins was my last one, and I kind of felt normally I don't pick like those top end guys, but he wasn't in the best spot when he got one though.
We are both tied with 5. So when Conforto goes yard, I will be alone at the top. Makes me happy. All right.
Are you counting your double home run day as 2?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. In summary, for me, Porcello, Eflin, Tehran, Lopez are my 4 best pitchers on FanDuel. Similar story on DraftKings. From a stack perspective, Brewers, Rays, Mets are 1, 2, 3. Keep your eye on the Rays. Red Sox, Brewers, Mets are my top 3 on DraftKings. Do you have anything you want to talk about for the 4 o'clock games? It's not something that I've looked at.
Yeah, actually, here's where all the good pitching is. If some of these games were on our slate, it would be fun. There's 2 3 o'clock games, but they seem to be in their own little standalone arena. That was where you get Herman Marquez and Zach Greinke and Buchholz and Drew Smyly. So some offense going to be occurring in those games in Texas and Colorado, respectively. Do not forget that the Angels game is not in Anaheim. It's actually in Monterrey, Mexico. It is the Monterrey Sultans Stadium. And it is Major League dimensions, but it is at altitude. It's not Mexico City or Coors Field, but it would be the second highest stadium if it was in Major League Baseball. It's at 1,700 feet. For perspective, Arizona is at about 1,000. So love all the Houston bats going against Matt Harvey. I like the Yankees going against Michael Pineda. The Yankees are getting healthy again. They've got Sanchez, Andujar, and Torres are all back. I don't know if they'll all be in the lineup today, but I think you want to look at those 2 teams for your offense. And then for your pitching, I would say that Kenta Maeda going against the Padres is in a nice spot because he's going against an incredibly righty-heavy lineup. And then Cincinnati Reds starter Luis Castillo getting to go against the Giants that have a dinged-up Evan Longoria and a bunch of guys who I don't really recognize their names.
There you go. In and out in an hour.
I'll be doing office hours this afternoon at 3. We've been breaking down how to play some of these 4-game slates, how to utilize leverage if you're only playing a handful of lineups, etc. So check that out. That is in the premium Slack.
Speaking of office hours, tomorrow, I believe from 12 to 1, I will be live talking a little bit about Lineup Rewind and what I do in it, how to use it. This is a feature for FC Pro. And then directly after that, from 1 to 2, I will be in office hours. So if you're not a premium sub, now's the time to do it. I will be in from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock tomorrow. You'll get EMAC today. We've got people in there doing an hour's worth of office hours all week, depending on the day, depending on the sport. But yeah, tomorrow is going to be an hour video about FC Pro and lineup study, and then an hour's worth of me in office hours. Later today, let me make sure I get the time right because I don't know it off the top of my head. We should be getting Fast Eddie Fear talking NBA probably around 2:30 p.m. for the hour before Raptors Sixers. Plus, we've got Nuggets Blazers tonight. 2-game set means you get Fast Eddie for basketball. That is a wrap on baseball for us. Keep your eye on the weather. Don't make any crazy decisions until 12:30 or so when you get all the information you can. But keep your eye on the Rays and Orioles game. Keep your eye on Nats and Phillies. Keep your eye on Oakland and Pittsburgh, although I think you're going to be fine on that one. EMAC, anything else?
No, this is the only time Oakland and Pittsburgh play each other this year. It's not a home and home, so they're going to do whatever they can to get it in because otherwise they have to then find a neutral day where they're both off and then play somewhere, which is always a pain, and you usually see happen every other year in baseball. So it does happen from time to time, and we've even seen teams play each other in I forget who it was, but they played each other in Milwaukee, and neither team was the Brewers involved in that one for some makeup game that had playoff implications. So like, shit, we got to get this one in. It's the only day we can do it. So it's always fun with baseball. Check out our buddy Llama Tramer. Drop your Twitter or your Twitch link in the chat. I'm assuming you're going to do a little NASCAR show free for everybody that wants to watch that. We've got NASCAR projections. We got some good articles up for that, both driver projections and popularity. So it should be a fun one. I forget where they're racing to. Oh, Dover, the Tricky Triangle. So there we are.
There we are, everybody. Thank you for joining us. MLB Strategy, the promo code 50% off. Shout out to Yahoo. If you want to sign up, hit the link that I'm dropping in chat right now. And by right now, I mean 10 seconds after I say that because it takes me a second to get to it. Awesome is the promo code. If you want to sign up there, get $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points. Best of luck today. Enjoy your Sunday, everybody. We'll see you in the morning tomorrow. Adios.